Hey, this is Thomas Mashad, and welcome back to Brain Doodles. In this lesson of lettering, we're going to look at adding weight, making it feel heavy, adding weight to your lettering. All right, and then we're also going to take a look at block letters. Now, this isn't drawing squares around the letters. We're going to see how we can create outlines to our text, make it really add some punch to it. We're going to see how we can end up using those to really adding some flair to the topics of our lecture notes. Okay, so in adding some weight, right, and I'm just going to write out a letter here so we can take a look at it. Once you have, written out a letter, you'll notice that sometimes you'll have a tendency to keep going back over and over something. Sometimes this is just kind of like a mindless act that we end up doing, but there's a reason why sometimes we end up doing it, and that's just because we see something, that's important, especially like if you're ever on the phone with somebody and you're taking notes, and you'll notice that there's a particular word that you've written out, and that as you're talking and you're talking on that particular subject, you keep going back over and over because it's becoming more and more important in your mind. And if we just continue to do that with our words, we can really start to adding some weight, some importance. So now this becomes much more important to us than if we just had a simple word. Okay? So here what you can end up doing is that maybe you have a specific topic and then you have some, descriptions about it. Here you can make all of this into your normal text, but maybe your topic header, has this bold, heavy feeling. Okay? And so whether, you, like for exclamation point, you darken it in, and the rest of the word is, just line after line building up on each other. Okay, so this is one very, very easy way to convey weight. And so this feels heavy, whereas this feels light. So this is important, and this is not as important. It might be something that's important later on, or it might be a subtopic of this. This main topic is very important. This one isn't as important. Okay. So like whenever you have something all of a sudden makes sense, put that exclamation point there. Okay, and really bold that up, adding some weight to it or filling it in. The other thing you do is if you have a question, put a question mark down next to something. Okay, make it pretty big, and then just keep going back and forth to making it bold, and then putting your dot down at the bottom. Okay? So you could have this bit of text in here, and you go, you know what, this one doesn't make any sense to me. So maybe this is a question that you have to ask later. Okay? So let's now take a look at creating block letters rather than just putting line upon line. Let's take a look at creating some outlines. Okay, now with block lettering, this is what we're going to end up doing. We're going to take a look at a simple line down and then across. Here, what letter do we have? The letter L. Okay, now for an outline, all you're doing is thinking like air is blowing out and then kind of expanding this line, or maybe like water is running around it. Okay, so we're going to draw a line above, coming down, and then at the bottom, extending past, a line up, a line back, and then another line up. And this is where we now have our block lettering. Okay? Some letters are easier than others, certainly. The L, the I, another easy letter, an O. Just simply creating a large circle, and then you could put a smaller circle on the inside. Okay? Or what you could also do, you could start out with a small circle and do a much larger circle. And don't forget, overlap these letters. Have some fun with them. Okay? You could even, kind of move these circles down if you wanted to. All right? We can end up doing something like that. So maybe you started out with a large circle, and then maybe another circle down below. Okay? And we could end up making those look like eyes. Okay? Now, some are kind of a little bit trickier. Say maybe like the letter K, that we start out, we kind of come in, down, and then up at an angle, keeping our line away from the others. So we have some angled lines coming in, down and across, and then back up. Here we've overlapped, which is great. All right. It doesn't mean that those things actually have to line up perfectly. We're just having some fun with it. Okay. So here we've done an outline of some text. Okay. Then you could certainly add some weight to it by going in and not necessarily going all the way up to the very top of the L, but maybe just, kind of bringing it down a little bit, and then adding some line weight. And then even at the bottom, not going all the way to the edge, but stopping short. So what does this look like? It looks kind of like a little bit like a drop shadow. Okay, we talked about shadow and shading in our first set of lessons. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect, just has to convey an idea that we have this drop shadow, that there's this shadow, this text is lifting off and away from our paper. Okay, so now this look really draws attention. We can do this on the inside as well. Okay. All right, so that's one way of doing that. And as you get a little bit more, comfortable in doing this, you could just end up doing it all by freehand. And once again, it's not going to look perfect, but we're just having some fun with the text. And then it allows us to add some emphasis to what's kind of going on within our text. Okay, so you could do this with a title. You could do, maybe you're calling out attention to something, and you do write the word look or watch or see or something like that. Okay, so that's creating block lettering. Some letters a little bit easier than others. Some you're going to have to practice with, like with the letter Q, drawing on the inside, maybe, drawing this line, the tail of it. And this is where using a pencil really kind of comes in handy, so you can erase those lines, okay? And then you can always fill all of the other stuff in. So you're going to have to practice, especially the letters that are a little bit more difficult than others, okay? So have some fun with this text, practice, 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 and see ways in which you can use this within your own notes to really bring out those topics to your attention even more.